Hello and welcome to the COMPLEANO wrap tutorial for the 2022 September Crochet subscription box. My name is Carmela and I'm the owner and founder of Crochet in the Yarnarium, and I can't wait to show you how to make this beautiful project. Here is the wrap. Here's the edge of the wrap. In your box, you will also find this stitch chart, which features all of the rows. So I've worked with foundation trebles. I'm going to be working in UK terms today. And if you want to translate my UK terms, on the back of this is the conversion chart. Now this stitch pattern comprises of a multiple of 12 foundation treble stitches plus one extra foundation treble stitch. I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. However, if you prefer to chain, that's not a problem. Then simply chain a multiple of 12. And for this pattern, that will be 264 chains plus 3 for your turning chain. So that'll be a total of 267 chains. And that is all written in here. So this bit will tell you whether you wish to make chains and work into the chains, or if you wish to make foundation trebles. Now I'm actually going to show you both methods because I want to show you how to work into the back bump of a chain, to get that nice effect on the bottom. And I'll do that for you now. So if we're ready, we're going to work on this swatch, and I'll show you my swatch that I made for you earlier. And here's the sample I made for you in the blue. Nice contrast against the pink there. This is a gorgeous colour blue, and it's the sky blue. Whoever got sky blue, I highly recommend just working up a little swatch like this. You can use scrap yarn, but you should have plenty of the other yarn, of the papyrus yarn. But if you don't want to waste your papyrus yarn, just use any 4-ply yarn or any yarn at all, just to test out this pattern. Once you've mastered this swatch, the rest is easy. And at the end, I will also show you how to do the edging of the shawl, which again is also easy. It's just a mixture of chain stitches, double crochet stitches and trebles working into the chains. To make the sample today, we're going to use papyrus, 4mm hook and a stitch marker if you need it. But because of this is such a fine yarn, and I actually just want to first demonstrate to you how to work into the back bump of a chain, and then after that how to create foundation treble crochets. I'm going to use a thicker yarn just so you can see it properly, and for this thicker yarn I just need to use a different hook. So let's go. So to begin with, what I suggest you do if you want to work into the back bumps, is use a crochet hook 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter higher than the hook required for the project. So to demonstrate, I'm just going to work a few chains. Your back bumps here are created when you yarn over. So when you yarn over, it creates a back bump. And that's what we're going to work into. So once I've created the amount of chains that I need, in this case I've just done a few for demonstration, I change back to the correct size hook that I'm going to need for my project, and then I turn my length of chains towards me. Obviously, as we're working into working a treble, we need to work into the 4th chain from the hook, which is 1, 2, 3 and 4. and then turn it over to find the back bump, which is here. So this is the back bump here. And if you're doing it from the back, it would be the 4th back bump down. So that's the top 1, 2, 3, 4. So yarn over, work into that back bump, and then just finish your stitch as normal. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then continue all the way into the next, oops, I'm looking at my screen here, making sure you can see this, into the next back bump, all the way down your chain. I hope you can see this because the sun has just decided to go behind a cloud, and I'm relying on daylight today, but it's a very wet and drizzly day here in Sydney, and it's not giving me very good light. Hopefully I might be able to do something about that in post-production, so when I come to edit this video. So we just have 2 more, 1 or 2, yes, 2 more to do. And your last one is right behind the first chain that you made, and it might be sticking out a bit more than the others. So it's yarn over. And that is how you treble into the back bump. Why do we do that? Because as we have this lovely tops V's here when we finish a stitch, you also get it on the bottom as well, and it looks, if you want a nice neat edge, whether you're working into that edge along the pattern or not, it just has such a neat finish to it and no gaps, and I really love it. Okay, so that is our, just grab some scissors, that is our working into the back bumps. And now I'm going to demonstrate for you how to create foundation chains. So using the hook and the yarn that is for your project, simply start by making a slip knot, and begin by chaining 4. And we're going to work into the 4th chain from a hook. So to begin, yarn over, work under the 2 loops of the chain, yarn over and pull through a loop. You will now have 3 loops on your hook. To create the base chain of the stitch, simply yarn over and pull through the first loop on the hook, and to create the treble we just carry on as normal, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and that's your second treble there. Your chain 3 counts as your first, and we're now just going to work into the base chain that we made, which is right underneath this stitch here. The first one is a bit tricky to work into, but as I work a few of these, you'll be able to see more clearly how it constructs. So I've made my second one, and you can see there's now a second base chain. So you simply continue by doing exactly the same process again. Yarn over into that bottom base chain under both loops, yarn over, pull through a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first loop to create the base chain for your stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 to create your treble. Again, yarn over and into the base chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, that's your base chain, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. It's that simple, and you can see how you have a beautiful neat edge here. You can always stitch this fellow in later, but you have a lovely neat edge to your work. I'll do a few more for you. Into the base chain, yarn over, pull through the first loop, 2 2 loops, 2 loops. It's really so simple. Foundation treble crochets. I love them. And there we are. That's all there is to it. I hope that makes sense. So to begin row 2, simply follow your written instructions, or if you prefer, you can follow the chart or follow both. I find it's sometimes easier to follow both. Begin by chaining 3 and work 2 trebles or 2 double crochets if you're using US terms into that same first stitch under the chain 3. Next, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and work a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 5, skip 3, and work a double crochet into the next stitch. Then chain 2. You're now going to begin the repeat of the pattern. So you will repeat this next section as many times as required. So skip 3, work 5 trebles into the next stitch. Then chain 2, skip 3, and work a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 5, skip 3, and work a double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 2. This portion here that you can see from the 5 trebles to the last chain 2 here is the repeat in row 2. So we'll do that again. I think we have one more repeat, and then we have the end stitches. So skip 1, 2 and 3, and then 5 trebles in the next stitch. I think you can see the formula here. It's very hard to crochet and look in the camera at the same time, but I'm working on it. Okay, so we definitely have 5, and then we continue, chain 2, skip 3, and work a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 5, skip 3, and work a double crochet in the next stitch. Then we chain 2, and when you come to the end of your row in your pattern, we need to mirror what we did at the beginning here. So we skip 3 and we work 3 trebles into the 3rd chain of the initial chain 3, which was when you created your foundation treble. So just 3 trebles into that stitch. And that is your row 2 of your pattern complete. Obviously you will have a lot more repeats than me, but I'm just working on the stitch chart for you so you can see how this stitch is actually worked. You'll find that with this second row you'll have gone from 265 stitches to 353. That's because we're filling in, we're creating this extra space so we can create a lacy effect. And now we'll start to decrease as we go back up, as we go up the rows. Let's carry on with row 3. Row 3 begins with a chain 4, which equates to a treble and a chain 1. Then we're going to work into the next stitch. Remember, this is your first, we've already done that. Work a treble, chain 1, oops, a treble, and a chain 1. Now we need to do another chain 1 to make a chain 2, and we're going to skip 3 stitches, which is 1, 2, 3, because all your chain stitches count as a stitch, and we're going to work a double crochet into the chain 5 space. Because I've said we're working into the chain 5 space, I do not instruct you to skip 5 because we've worked into that as a space. There is a note about that in the pattern, so do make sure you understand that. We're going to chain 2, and then the pattern tells you to skip 3, which is the double crochet and the 2 chains. Then we're going to work into the treble, creating a treble and a chain 1 into each of these trebles. And the last treble, you just pop in a treble. So you can see how this is taking shape, and we're actually decreasing as we go too. So there's your treble chain 1, treble chain 1, treble chain 1, treble chain 1, and then the last one is just a treble. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the 3 stitches here, which is 2 chains and a double crochet, and we're going to work another double crochet into the chain 5 space. Then we're going to chain 2 again, skip the next 3, double crochet and 2 chains, and work a treble chain 1 into each of the next 4. And then 1 treble in the last one. Chain 2 again, we're just on the last little section now. crochet in the last chain 5 space, chain 2, skip 3, and then a treble chain 1 in each of the next 2, and then a treble in the last stitch, which is the chain 3 from the previous round. And here we are at round 4. You need to chain 6 at the beginning, which counts as a double treble and a chain 2, I beg your pardon. So chain 6, you need to skip the next chain 1 space, and then we're going to go with 2 yarn overs for your double treble into the next stitch, which is the next treble along, chain 2, yarn over twice, skip the next chain stitch and into the next treble, and work your double treble, which is exactly the same as working a treble, but you just have 2 more stitches to pull through. Now we're not going to make any stitches in between the double crochet and the chains here. We're going to go straight over to this treble here by yarning over twice, so don't chain, and go straight into the treble. And to show you on the chart, we're working this bit here. So you work your first double trebles with the chain 2s in between, then there's no chain 2 in between this one. We skip all of this and we go straight into the next double treble. Apologies about my phone there. So now we're going to do this bit here. So work a double treble into that first treble, chain 2, skip the chain 1 and work a double treble into the next. And a chain 2 and repeat. So we've got one more of these to do with a chain 2. And then a double treble into the last treble of the span. And again, we're going to skip all of this and double treble straight into the next treble. Chain 2 and repeat again. Oops, 2 yarn overs. Chain 2. And then 1 double treble into the last treble of this span. So you should have a whole row that looks like that. So we're doing a double treble chain 2 across the fan, and then 1 treble at the end, skipping all of this, going straight back into the next treble, and so on and so on, all the way to the end of your row. And then we get to the end of row 4, which is this bit here. So that's the bit we'll do here. So skip all of this and work a double treble chain 2 into the next treble. and then skip the chain 1 and work another double treble chain 2 into the next treble, skip the chain 1 and then just work a final double treble into the third chain of the previous chain 3, which is technically your last stitch. And there you have it. Row 5 again is a nice super simple row. It's just trebles working into these stitches, but we're decreasing still to bring it back to 265. So the one stitch that we are skipping is the last stitch of each fan. So the last stitch of each half fan and each full fan, all the way to the end. I shall show you. Begin row 5 by chaining 3. That becomes your first treble of this row. Work a treble into the chain 2 space, well, 2 trebles rather, into that chain 2 space. Work a treble into the next double treble. 2 trebles in the next chain 2 space. And then a treble into, sorry, no, not a treble into the last one. So this is the one here that we're skipping. So this one here, which we're going to skip. I'm just working trebles, no chains, just trebles into the chain 2 space. And the last 2 trebles in this chain 2 space. And the last stitch of this fan we skip. So we go straight into the beginning of the next fan. So into the top of that double treble, then 2 in the chain 2 space, and so on and so on. All the way to the end of your long row. Fortunately mine's a short row. And it's exactly the same pattern. So we're now at the last half fan, which on our map, if you like, is here. So we're at the end here. So we've got 2 halves at either end, and then we've got several in between. So we're just working on the last one here. So we're skipping the last double treble of that last fan, working straight into next, oh, whoops, into the chain 2 space, 2 trebles, another treble into the double treble, 2 into the space, and then you need to find the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll be tucked up there, right at the top, and just work a treble into that one. Always try and go under 2 loops again in your chains, and it'll stop any kind of. Oh, I'm not having much luck today. I did these very tightly. There we go. There, it just kind of makes it a tiny bit neater. And there we have your row 5. So as you can see, it's slowly forming, and it does tend to look a little bit kind of crooked, the first 3 rows, but it eventually evens out. But that also does happen as you go because you're increasing and then decreasing. So here is my swatch sample with 2 complete pattern repeats completed, and I also have my foundation row here. Now obviously I haven't done 9 pattern repeats, but when you've done your complete 9 pattern repeats, you will have 37 rows including your foundation row, and you will have a total of 265 stitches. But as I can't fit all those in the picture, remember, I'm just doing this swatch. So at this stage, we're now at row 38, which is decorating the top long edge. So at the end of row 37, turn your work and follow the pattern as follows. I'll just zoom in for you. To begin the long top decorative row, simply chain 1 and work a double crochet, that's a single crochet US, but I'm working in UK terms, into the first stitch. Then you're going to chain 2 and you're going to work a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And what that chain 2 has done is created a picot, what's called a picot edge. So doing these little chains creates something called a picot. So you're now going to repeat the square brackets, tells you to repeat chain 2 and double crochet in each of the next 2 right to the end of the row. So you want to copy this all the way to the end of the row. So let's just do a few together. So chain 2, double crochet in each of the next 2, and then repeat again. So chain 2, double crochet in each of the next 2, and complete and repeat again. And then you're going to finish at the end of this row, and I'll meet you there. And that is the last of your top edge finished. Now we're going to turn our work to the right and work along the short edge of your wrap. Obviously yours will be much wider than mine, but I can show you in this sample exactly how to do that. So the first thing you want to do is work a treble crochet, don't chain, just work a treble crochet in the same place as you worked the double crochet just then. So it's in the same place, and that becomes the first stitch of this short edge row. Next you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to work treble chain 1s all the way to the end of this row, finishing with a treble stitch in the last corner here. So I'll do a few of those with you. So we chain 1, and now I'm just going to put a treble in the side here and a chain 1. I'm going to pop one in here. Let's have a look. Now I'm going to pop some in here. I'm going to pop one in the space, chain 1, and another in the space there. So you can judge where you wish to place your stitches, and it doesn't matter too much as long as they're placed into the edges of these stitches here, and that you're placing them evenly. So if I have one here, I'm not going to pop one right over here because it will just make too big a gap. You know, it will just be, you need to fill the gaps nice and evenly as best as you can, and then just check a few stitches before the end to make sure you have got a multiple of 6, or in your case you need a total of 127. So when you get to the very end of your long edge, just double check, just count through and see how you're going and how many more you need to do, and then just space the last few stitches out evenly. That will be a lot easier. So I'm just going to work my treble chain 1s in here, and then I'll meet you at the end again. and try and go into the stitches if you can, as opposed to around them. You know, just push your hook through 2 loops on the side as best you can. Probably by this stage you're just super keen to get the thing finished, as I was at this stage. So I didn't fuss too much about where I placed them. I just made sure that they were evenly spread out along the row. And it was a long row. Oops, that's not concentrating now. There we are. So I'll see you at the end in a minute. You're doing well. So when you've reached the end of your short edge decorative row, before the last few stitches, just do a count all the way along. Make sure you have 126 stitches before you place the last stitch, which is your +1. This row must equal a multiple of 6. So for example, I have 31 stitches. So if you take away my +1, I have 30 stitches, and that divides by 6. So whatever you get to, even if you end up doing slightly more or slightly less, and it looks like it's working for you, just make sure it's a multiple of 6 plus 1. Hope that helps. So edge row number 2 is very simple. You chain 1, double crochet in the first stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and this counts as your first stitch. Then you're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then you're going to skip 5. So we're counting chain 1s, remember? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Then you're simply going to repeat that all the way along to the last stitch. So it's chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and double crochet in the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that all the way along to your top edge, along the short edge of your beautiful long wrap. And you will have a total of 21 chain spaces with a double crochet in between each one, and there'll also be a double crochet at the end. So work through that. I'll work through mine and we'll meet at the end. So there's my sample short edge. So now you will have 21 chain 7 spaces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I'm just doing this little sample. But you will have a double crochet at each end, and there'll be a double crochet in between each chain 7. So that is your multiple of 6, is the chain 7, then the skip 5, and then the double crochet. That's your multiple of 6. Okay, now let's carry on to edge row 3. Again, we begin with a chain 1, which does not count, and we're going to work a double crochet into that first stitch. And again, we're going to chain 7, and then we're going to work a double crochet into the chain 7 space. And again, we're going to repeat that all the way to the last stitch. And this time, when you've repeated that all the way to the last stitch and you've worked your double crochet into your last chain 7 space, you're then going to you're going to then work your last chain 7, and you're going to put that into the, I can just find it, there it is, the double crochet at the end of that row. So what that does is kind of gives you like an edging that kind of almost goes around the corner a little bit. So it looks a bit odd now, but when you've put in the fillers, as I call them, it will look nice, I promise. Okay, so that was edge row 3. And now we have the last row, which is edge row number 4. So here we are, and hopefully I will not lose my daylight soon because it's getting late in the day now. We are on the final row, edge row number 4, and this is where we just pretty up the last bit. So let's get this done. You must be relieved to get to this stage. I know this is a long job, this wrap, but I know you'll be very happy with it. I hope you will. Okay, so do not chain. This is edge row number 4. Do not chain. Simply work a double crochet into the first stitch. And the reason I don't want to chain there is because I don't want to make any extra bulk at the edge of that stitch. So just work a double crochet straight into that first double crochet stitch. Then we're going to work 3 double crochets, a treble, a chain 2, then a treble, then 3 double crochets, all into this chain 7 space. So let's do that now. So first would be do three double crochets. As you can see, that actually flows along from that first one without the chain quite nicely. Then we're going to work a treble, then a chain 2, and then a treble, and then 3 double crochets again. Now I worked my stitches quite tightly, only because I like a nice tight look to my edging. So the next step in this is just to work a double crochet in that next double crochet, and that is your first piece of the edging complete. So let's continue on into the next one. Again, 3 double crochets, one treble, chain 2, 1 treble, oops, don't forget the yarn over, 1 treble, and you might need to squish it along a bit, and then 3 double crochets. And then a double crochet in the next stitch. And there we are. You can see that's now forming nicely. Definitely recommend blocking these edge bits. So continue on the edge, and I'll show you mine when I'm done. I do like making things that are beautiful to finish, but simple to produce, but with an effective aesthetic. So work to the end. I've only got 3 left to do. I'm sure you have a lot more than that. So keep going, and I'll just catch you up at the end of mine. So here I am. I've completed my edge, and it's looking lovely, even on this little sample. So the last thing to do, once you've double crocheted into that last double crochet, is to simply slip stitch to the first stitch of this row, and that is right here, or just somewhere around there. Just slip stitch your just slip stitch into that side, just so that will pull the edge down and just create a totally neat edge. And that is it. It is complete. I'm not going to cut mine because I'm actually going to, oh no, I am going to cut mine, but I will cut mine later. But that is the last thing to do. So you've slip stitched into there, you've finished. It's been a marathon, I'm sure, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see in a month or so some beautiful, beautiful makes. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope it's all made sense. If you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below if you can on this video, because this at the moment will be an unlisted video. Leave me a comment, send me an email at support@THEYARNARIUM, and enjoy.